I'm Steve Craddy. Welcome to Plant City Bonsai's first video of spring. My first release of these junipers was around 8 years ago, and these trees have done so much developing in the last 8 years. You really need to come by and see this group. I'm just so excited about it. This is our amazing candy comb. It's a track wheelbarrow I acquired from the West Coast. It's ideal for a bonsai nursery. It'll haul 1,000 pounds up the steepest grade that you can think of. It's also a tool that I'm going to use in my Japanese gardens away from here. So it'll handle impossible tasks. Call me sometime and I will give you the details. Welcome to the glass house. In the winter, we did a video showing you the new arrivals from California. They were totally asleep, totally dormant. And I can't wait to show you what these trees look like now. We have a few samples that we're displaying right here. This right here is from Los Angeles. This is a dwarf fig. It will actually have a fairly small fig fruit. One of my favorite varieties to carry from the East Nursery. This is a Chinese elm, corkbark elm, that we also bought in California. And if you hadn't seen the video, it looked like it was totally deceased until a few weeks ago. And now the elms are exploding with growth. So all my helpers are feverishly pruning these trees. And it's crucial to do this to keep the trees from becoming lanky, for A, and then B, it enables you to see the drama inside. And I know I'm making it hard to see. Just with a couple of minutes of pruning changes the whole perspective. Another corkbark Chinese elm. This has exploded with growth. Look at the trunk diameter. It's a gorgeous piece. And another one here. Again, if you have not seen the video before, the winter video, these I purchased out of a field. We tagged them and they were dug and then processed and shipped to us at the appropriate time. Just gorgeous. The trunk, Sebastian, if you can show the corkiness of the trunk, it's just, they're amazing. And these are not young trees. I'm going to pick this one up so you can see it closely, so Sebastian can kind of zero in. This is a cotoneaster that was also in the video. This one shipped from California. It's kind of unreal. It shipped with its berries. It still has its berries. These are the same berries from the January delivery. They're not even there. They didn't shrivel like most fruits do when they're put into that kind of trauma. They still are gorgeous. But here's the thing. It's getting ready to explode with this season's blossoms that will become these berries. And when they become apparent, then these berries will drop off, or we will take them off. Also from California, here's a good representation of the trident maples that we acquired. Also field grown. These are just incredibly dramatic, smaller trees. We call this the Shohin size, and you will probably realize this by the time this video is over. I am really focusing on the smaller size trees. It's great for those who can't visit my nursery. I can ship this tree. I'm very good at shipping. And you can order this tree. It'll arrive in perfect condition. One of my favorites, trident maple. Look at the size of the trunk. It's barely 5 inches tall when it has already great branches. That's why I go to California, I believe. Another California offering. This was also videoed in the wintertime video. This is the ginkgo, Chi-Chi ginkgo. Notice how beautiful the fan leaves are. Now these have not extended out to full size. The full-size ginkgo leaf, like we grow here in Georgia for landscape, the leaves can be between 2 and 4 inches. These leaves, when they mature and expand, their leaves will still be well under 2 inches. These are dwarf crabapples. This tree here, which I apologize for the oxalis showing, is a flowering crabapple, fruiting crabapple, I should say. This tree is a performer. You can realize, 12 to 20 fruits annually. And the nice thing about this is if you care for your tree, keep any birds or squirrels from getting the fruits, the leaves will color fall and the fruits will hang on throughout the holiday season. It makes a great centerpiece. I love these. They're not young at all. I'd say this is at least 15 to 20 years old. And I'm going to go from this tree to sort of down the line and mention a couple of the others. This one's a beautiful white bloom. Now this tree will have, each one of these will become a fruit. Now Sebastian, can you zero in closely on one bloom? There's the beginning of an apple. It's already forming. This is from not this year's buying trip. This is several years ago. But this tree I'm real proud of. It didn't produce any blooms or fruits last season. And you can see this year we're getting lots. So we're going to have apples on this tree. Love the simplicity and the elegance of this tree. And again, baby apples. Oh, this shows the size of the fruit. And that's important. That's the reason we use crab apples, because the size of the fruit is in scale with what we're trying to accomplish. And the nice thing about crab apples, you can have 6 of them, and you can have some that start blooming January 15th. Then you have some that are just now budding. And it's just so awesome. This tree always reminds me of an actual apple orchard. Look at the scar tissue that we've exposed. It's just it's a piece of art. These are Kinomales, Japanese quince. This is a beautiful white blooming one. It's Kantoyo. And it's just a gorgeous tree-shaped quince. It's very difficult to accomplish this. It's this one actually, if I can kind of move it toward the camera, it actually has a nice root buttress. And like I say, it has more of a tree form. Most quinces are very free form. We show them in bonsai because of their beauty of their fruit, their flowers. Sometimes you will have a fruit also. This is actually not from California, but I want to show it off. This is called Dragon Blood. It's one of my favorites. And this is actually from a last year release. These blooms here started about here. I cut the tree down dramatically and it branched out, and that's why we're getting the blooms closer to the base. They last a long time, and beautiful thing is they're from our side of the world, so they're readily available for me to sell. This one here, that's been blooming its little heart out, is called Toyonishiki. Toyonishiki is my overall favorite quince. It's a multicolor bloom. You will realize in this season, if you own this tree, you would have pink flower and you'd have a white flower. And sometimes the pink is kind of marbly. As you own this tree for several more years, you'll notice a third bloom that's going to happen, and it'll be a bright red. One of the favorites. One of my favorite sizes of bonsai, as I've already mentioned, is Shohin. I even like to lean toward the Mame size. What better variety of plant can we use than the Cotoneasters? The leaves are just so small. We've talked about one that survived its flight with full berries and looking gorgeous. This is one that we also received in the winter delivery. This tree became totally deciduous. Look what it's doing. And this is getting ready to form buds, and this will be full of fruits. Here's one. Here's a cousin. It's a different variety, but here's one that's already bloomed and in the process of blooming, and we will have fruits. Here's one just a little bit ahead. And still another one. These are very easy to ship. If you act fairly quickly, you'll be able to enjoy all the blooms and then all the fruits. Elms are always my favorite, one of my favorites. This is a Seiju variety called Seiju. There are several forms of smaller leaved elms. This is second to the smallest. Interestingly, this tree is 20 years old. This is another Chinese elm. This one was wired at an early age. Right behind me is a tree that we showcased on the winter video. This is the Olea Europa, European olive. I was at Mr. Ishii's nursery, and I couldn't leave without this tree. And so Gary Ishii was nice enough to sell the tree. And if you're part of the bonsai community or the bonsai world, Father Ishii, Mas Ishii, who originally created this piece, died about a month ago. So it's a real treasure to have his trees, and especially this one. Gary commented while I was there purchasing trees that he remembers this tree from his first visit to the nursery, and it was already old at that time. I want to mention one more of the trees from California. This is a Hokkaido elm. I discovered it at my friend's nursery. It was growing in the field, and Hokkaido elm is the smallest leaved elm. If you're interested in this, hopefully you live close enough to come here, because this tree is actually not shippable. Their character trait is they're gorgeous, they're knockout, but the negative character trait is the branches break with any movement at all, so they're impossible to pack. But what a gorgeous piece. I have a small group of Satsuki azaleas on this table. Satsuki meaning basically they bloom in the 5th month. And this one doesn't understand that. It's putting out a fairly full bloom, and it's actually it started doing this even earlier. So, but it's a gorgeous old tree. Sebastian, let me get out of the way where you can kind of come in closer to the trunk, and I'll get on the side. This is from Japan. Variety is named can't read it. Very old. much smaller in girth, but dramatic in character. The nabari on this tree is just awesome. And it's a real feat to accomplish this. And then the tree has such nice movement. This will be the first year. This tree arrived here late last year. This will be the first year after bloom that we really set this, or if someone purchases it, we'll have the fun challenge of getting all this linkiness out of here, compacting the growth for next year's drama. Potted in Akadama and Kanuma. I repotted it. Another variety of azalea. This one has everything going for it. Great base, nice, perfect size. The blooms are a very clear pink, and they're very, very small. They're the size of a nickel. And again, I mentioned the size that I'm leaning toward this season, and will keep leaning toward, is the shohin. This is just an amazing tree from Japan. Nice fat base, great branches. I had the pot made for this tree. My very close friend Warren Hill, who, if you're in the bonsai world or in the bonsai community, you probably know Warren suffered a very serious stroke, and I was honored to be able to buy a few of his trees. And I just love, he and I share a favorite style, and that's literati. And he did such a beautiful job. This is such an elegant tree. Very difficult to achieve. It's a beautiful piece. Acer palmatum, Sharp's pygmy. This is a very mature piece. Sharp's pygmy has become a favorite in bonsai because it already has all the attributes. It twigs up very nicely. The leaf size is perfect. The fall color is unbelievable. It's a fiery red burgundy. It's just, they're totally awesome. This one even comes with an Adirondack cherry. This tree right here is one that I repotted this tree and I put it in sort of a more nurturing situation. You can see the beautiful foliage, how tight it is. It's the same. It's a Sharp's pygmy, same as that. I love this time of year. The color of green is just it's indescribable. Here's a trident maple specimen. This tree's been with me for at least 15 years. It's a nice fat base. It's actually been sold before, and I acquired it back. It is totally foliated, so it's hard to see the branch character, but it does a nice back and forth and tapering effect. I just released those who want to create their own forest, or they want to begin a tree from a 4-inch pot. I have these beautiful Acer palmatums. These are seedling varieties. That some are very, very much on their way. This tree here is a great example. You could cut it down to about 7 inches, and already by the end of the season, it'd be beautifully branched. Many of those to choose from. I can't not mention one of my all-time favorite species for bonsai, the redwoods. I've totally bonded with California redwoods. These are the metasequoia. Gorgeous forest waking up. Here are two larger single stand trees. Beautiful base. Sebastian and I picked the perfect night or evening to photograph this tree. The lighting's just perfect, and the timing is perfect because you can still see the dramatic stature of each tree. They're all very, very developed, and the foliage is so gorgeous this time of year. This past weekend we had a wonderful workshop. It was taught by my very close friend Harold Johnson, and he led a class on building Zelkova gray bark elm. This is a Zelkova gray bark elm. We were using very small trees, and we were doing them in a configuration of 5 trees and up to 9 trees. It was a very fun workshop. And I noticed that this guy was waking up, so I had to include it in our spring video. This is done in a broom style, classic broom, and it's just a gorgeous piece. It's getting there. It's getting there. Here's a group of very twisted Japanese black pines, also brought back from California. Many of these are from Gary Ishii's store. The incredible movement, it's irresistible. A few more of the pines that we brought back from California. Japanese black, gorgeous Japanese red, and 2 more blacks. My wife Sandy is studying the cultivation of black pines and just doing an excellent job. And this is Makawa, has an already short needle, and she's really enhanced it more. We have a beautiful group of Ishii trees, starting from the Mame size and to this medium size here. You can tell they have the signature of Mas Ishii and Gary Ishii. Before we leave this room, I do want to mention this trident maple that I acquired from Warren's collection. It's just a beautiful piece. It's way past stump or starter stage because you already have some usable branches, and there's a plan already in place for this tree. Sebastian says we have time, enough daylight to do one more room for touring the spring waking up of trees. So this is our shade house. We call this a shade house. Very valuable tool for this time of year. As everything wakes up, we don't have to worry about frost hurting the new growth. I'm releasing for the first time a group of rock garden dwarfs that are suitable for rock gardens or for bonsai. Here's one of my favorite hollies. It's an Ilex pagoda. Sebastian, can you kind of... It's just a ridiculously cool tree for bonsai. To the right here, we have Kingsville boxwood. This group, I featured these in my last couple of videos. This group is a mixture. Because it's winter, everything's sorted together, but you'll find Kingsville, you'll find several of the Kingsville cousins that have just elongated leaves, and but they're all gorgeous, from pencil size to this size. Trident maples from my seed tree, tried it. These are between 2 and 4 years old. Then we have a group that's older. These are around 12 years. These actually came from Tennessee, from my friend Don Chatto, who is a very famous plant grower. Then we have a kind of a mixture of more tridents, the Shoujo Japanese maples. That one came out of its pot. Beautiful color when they come out. It's the prettiest maple, in my opinion, when they wake up. They come out sort of a pink red. It will revert to green. It will be a green tree all summer. And then you get the splendor of fall color. Look at the loropetalum showing off. This tree in bonsai form, which we don't have them in this room, makes a very, very good bonsai. Next month we're doing a workshop on holly, and so I already have the hollies here for people to choose from. They're fairly old. This is a red dragon. Lion's head is one of my favorite Japanese maples. These are, I think they're fairly close to full grown. We have several of these, different sizes. Sebastian, this is the reason I wanted to really come into this room. I had to show off this majestic ball cypress. This was collected by Mary Madison. I love the tree. It's beautiful every day of the year, and now it's just waking up. The last corner I'm going to talk about, this is an Acer Janella. Look at that for a perfect twin trunk. Not used a lot in bonsai, but it should be. This is a linear leaf Japanese maple. Gorgeous foliage. We have a Crimson Queen here and another Crimson Queen here. This is actually from Oregon in the wooden box. Very beautiful weeping habit. And sort of hiding back here, I have to mention these, Sebastian. These are Stewartia monodelphus. We have cut them back this year, and they are getting lots of low branches, and they're just going to be an amazing future bonsai. Ginkgo tree, another Crimson Queen Japanese maple. This concludes today's video. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. I look forward to talking to you soon.